The story of Damal performance traditions reveals the rich and complex mixing of cultures in a world shaped by human movement and history. Damal is a mix of Sufi and African musical and dance performance. It refers particularly to the spiritual practices of Siddhis of Gujarat. Usually, Damal songs and dances are performed to celebrate the anniversary of the birth and death of spiritual leaders. They are performed in two ways. Dance Damal. It is performed in both sitting and dance positions and focus is more on the sounds of the instruments. Baitaki Damal. It is performed in the sitting position and focus is more on the lyrics and less on musical instruments. The spiritual songs that are sung during the Damals are known as Sikhs. The term Siddhi refers to Afro-Indians, Africans who mixed with Indians through marriages and relationships. They crossed the Indian Ocean and arrived in India during the 12th, 13th, and 14th century. They were transported by Islamic invaders and Portuguese colonizers as enslaved people, palace guards, army chiefs, spiritual leaders, Sufi singers, dancers, and treasurers. In the present day, the majority of them are found in the west and southwest of India, in Gujarat, Maharashtra, Karnataka, and Telangana states. The leaders from the energy sector in India and across the world met Prime Minister Narendra Modi at India Energy Week in Bangalore. They endorsed India as the most attractive place for exploration of oil and gas, with the country poised as a global bright spot. After the meeting, OPEC Secretary General said that they had an extensive discussion where they listened to the vision laid out by Prime Minister Modi. He said OPEC and its member countries stand side by side with India in helping it to deliver on its vision for the future and how energy security, affordability, and accessibility play an important role to make this vision a reality. International Energy Forum Secretary General said India can help the world solve climate crisis with technology and investment made in innovation in the energy sector. SNAM chairwoman said the main takeaways of India Energy Week are need for new energy, tenacity of industry, local demand and attractiveness of India to the rest of the world, which is promising. India Energy Week is being organized till 8th of this month. It aims to showcase India's rising prowess as an energy transition powerhouse. In a major relief to micro, small and medium enterprises, MSMEs, the center has issued an order to the ministries to refund performance security, bid security and liquidated damages forfeited, deducted during COVID-19 pandemic. The order issued by the finance minister is a follow-up to the Vivad Se Vishwas scheme announced in the budget speech 2023-24 by Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. Ms. Sitharaman in her speech announced that in cases of failure by MSMEs to execute contracts during COVID period, 95% of the forfeited amount relating to the bid or performance security will be returned to them by government and government undertakings. She said this will provide relief to MSMEs. Ministry of Finance in a statement said that the pandemic had a huge adverse impact on MSMEs as they faced many difficulties. The ministry said that 95% of the performance security forfeited from such firms shall be refunded. It added that 95% of the bid security, if any, forfeited from MSME firms in tenders opened between 19th February 2020 and 31st March 2022 will be refunded. Ministry said no interest shall be paid on such refunded amount. The grant of relief will be monitored through government e-marketplace. The director of Bureau of Energy Efficiency recently said that the government of India has made impressive progress in recent years in accelerating energy efficiency in industrial sectors through its flagship program Perform, Achieve and Trade PAT scheme. PAT scheme is a flagship program under the National Mission for Enhanced Energy Efficiency. It is implemented by the Bureau of Energy Efficiency BEE under the aegis of Ministry of Power. PAT scheme aims at reducing specific energy consumption, energy use per unit of production for designated consumers in energy intensive sectors with an associated market mechanism to enhance cost effectiveness through certification of excess energy saving, which can be traded. The excess energy savings are converted into tradable instruments called energy savings certificates that are traded at the power exchanges. The two power exchanges are India Energy Exchange and Power Exchange India Private Limited, which provide the trading platform for energy saving certificates. Central Electricity Regulatory Commission is the market regulator for the trading of energy saving certificates. PAT scheme is implemented in cycles of 3 years each, where designated consumers are assigned SEC reduced targets. Designated consumers who fall short of their targets bid for purchase of energy saving certificates. Bureau of Energy Efficiency BEE is a statutory body under the Union Ministry of Power. The Government of India set up BEE on 1st March 2002 under the provisions of Energy Conservation Act 2001. Recently, the deadline of PM Kusum, Pradhan Mantri Kisan Urja Suraksha Evam Uttam Mahabhiyan, to install 30,000 megawatt solar power capacity in rural India by 2022 has been pushed to March 2026. PM Kusum scheme was launched in 2019. The scheme envisages income generation for farmers from their infertile land with the establishment of solar power plants. To help farmers access reliable daytime solar power for irrigation, reduce power subsidies, and decarbonize agriculture. The scheme consists of three components. Component A, 10,000 megawatt of solar capacity through the installation of small solar power plants of capacity up to 2 megawatt. Component B, installation of 20 lakh standalone solar powered agriculture pumps. Component C, solarization of 15 lakh grid connected agriculture pumps. The Ministry of New and Renewable Energy will be the nodal ministry for this scheme. India's national accreditation system under the Quality Council of India QCI has been ranked 5th in the world in the recent Global Quality Infrastructure Index GQII 2021. The GQII ranks 184 economies in the world on the basis of quality infrastructure. India's overall QI system ranking continues to be in the top 10 at the 10th position. Ministry of Commerce and Industry in a statement said that the GQII rankings are published and presented post facto for each year based on the data collected till the end of that year. The 2021 rankings are based on the data till the end of December 2021, collected and analyzed through 2022. Chairperson of Quality Council of India, Mr. Shah, said that this is a sign of a new India in the Amardakal with a quality first approach. He said India's accreditation system is the youngest among the 3 QI pillars in India, and the country has jumped to global 5th within a year in these rankings. He said QCI is committed to make Made in India a globally trusted brand on the foundations of quality and credibility. QI is the technical backbone for international trade with metrology, standardization, accreditation, and conformity assessment services, providing reliability and trust between trading partners. Meanwhile, Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Singh Thakur have said that India has featured in the world's top 5 accreditation systems led by the National Accreditation System under the Quality Council of India. In a tweet, Mr. Thakur said that adoption of best global practices, accreditation standards, and quality checks is the key to growth and innovation. The Indian Space Research Organization ISRO has successfully tested the throttling of Vigas, its Warhorse launch vehicle engine. Vigas, an acronym for Vikram Ambalal Sarabhai engine, is a family of liquid-fueled rocket engines conceptualized and designed by the Liquid Propulsion Systems Center of ISRO in 1970s. Early productions involved imported French components which were later replaced by domestically produced equivalents. These engines are deployed for ISRO's Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle PSLV and Geosynchronous Satellite Launch Vehicle GSLV series of expandable launch vehicles for space launch use. The fuel load of Vigas engine is 40 tons for the PSLV, GSLV Mark 1 and 2 and 55 tons for GSLV Mark 3. The Liquid Propulsion Systems Center LPSC is a research and development center functioning under ISRO. It is the center for design, development, and realization of liquid propulsion stages for ISRO's launch vehicles. LPSC activities and facilities are spread across its two campuses, LPSC Trivandrum, Kerala, and LPSC Bangalore, Karnataka. Union Budget 2023 announced a voluntary settlement scheme with standardized terms to amicably end commercial contractual disputes concerning government undertakings in which arbitral awards are under challenge. Budget 2023-24 has proposed a scheme for settling contractual dispute and named Vivad Se Vishwas 2, settling contractual disputes. The voluntary settlement scheme is introduced to settle contractual dispute of government and government undertakings wherein arbitral awards is under challenge in a court. This will be done by offering graded settlement terms depending on pendency level of the dispute. Under the scheme, voluntary option is given to the private sector to come into the scheme or not. Vivad Se Vishwas scheme is a direct tax scheme introduced by the Government of India in 2020 for settling disputes between taxpayers and the Income Tax Department. It aims to minimize tax-related litigations. Under this scheme, an individual pay taxer can claim full waiver on interest and penalty on the full and the final settlement of the disputed tax amount. There was a time limit set for the payment of the taxes under the scheme. Vishwa Bharati University will soon get the heritage tag from UNESCO to take the distinction of world's first living heritage university. It is one of the India's major central government funded autonomous university located in Shantiniketan, West Bengal. It is well known as a distinguished center for visual art practice and research in India. The university was established in 1921 by Nobel Prize laureate Rabindranath Tagore. It was named after Nobel laureate Rabindranath Tagore until Vishwa Bharati Society was registered as an organization in May 1922. The institution was given the status of Central University in 1951 through a Central Act. Its first Vice Chancellor was Ratindranath Tagore, the son of Rabindranath Tagore, and the second Vice Chancellor was the grandfather of another Nobel laureate economist, Amartya Sen. The President of India appoints the Vice Chancellor of the university. Vishwa Bharati University is renowned for its cultural festivals called Paush Mela and the Basanta Utsav, which attracts a number of artisans from all across the country. The Yuva Sangam registration portal was recently launched at Indira Gandhi National Center for Arts, New Delhi. It is an initiative of Prime Minister of India. The main aim of this portal is to build close ties between the youth of Northeast region and rest of India under the spirit of Ek Bharat, Shresth Bharat. Over 20,000 youth will travel across India and gain a unique opportunity for cross-cultural learning. This cultural exchange program will also allow you to celebrate the ancient culture and natural diversity of India. The youth of 18 years to 30 years will get an opportunity to see different states of the country to understand their art, culture, and languages. The government has said that for the first time, the Hajj package cost have been reduced by around 50,000 rupees under the new Hajj policy. The first tourism working group meeting under India's G20 presidency will begin on 7th February in Kutch, Gujarat. S&P Global Ratings recently said core inflation in India has been declining sequentially and an elevated 6.25% policy rate limits the need for further rate hikes. The union budget has recently announced rupees 2516 crore for the computerization of 63,000 primary agriculture credit societies over the next 5 years. Recently, 8 projects under National Industrial Corridor Development and Implementation Trust have been sanctioned and approved by the Government of India. India's agricultural and processed food products export increased up by 13% in current fiscal year 2022-23.